What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Chrissy Chaos, the podcast, right? I just added that. I have my comedy special dropped on Hulu the other day, so I wanted to have on a guest that I've been talking to for, a couple of years, because I know how important it is with Hulu and the other companies. You got to have the young audience. So I said, let me get in one of these autistic Gen Z fucking kids who I'm too old to know what the hell's going on. I brought in John and Pat, who are big fans, and I said, let me just meet this kid. He's taller, much taller than I expected, but he looks good. He looks clean.
Thank you.
He was arrested by Homeland Security or something. He was a migrant. And I guess he's Canadian.
Yeah, I love this. I love this country, man.
Dude, and this guy, and we're calling this episode For the Algo. It's my man Andrew Callaghan.
Hey, man, it's an honor. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
AC baby with a Seattle phone number.
Oh, let's go. You recognize the 206?
Yo, 206, all dizzy.
All freaking dizzy, bro.
I like you, man. I like your energy, man. You got positive energy.
Thanks.
And when we embraced, we gave the kind of we gave a pound and then elbow to chest. And
we connected more than normal. You know what I mean?
100%.
That real shit.
100%.
Some people are scared to go in for it.
I like you, man. Now, how old are you?
27.
Dude, what an age.
Is it a good age or a bad age?
I think 27, what I like about 27-year-olds is here, 30, I'm 40.
Yeah.
29 to 33, insufferable. They are insufferable people. Oh God, just they grew up into social media when it was booming.
Yeah.
Everything is like, should we speak about this? Everything is just like, shut up, just go live life. Just seriously, just shut the fuck up for 5 seconds. Just, I can't. 27 and younger, actually, you guys have come around, and now you've seen how toxic social media can be and how annoying everyone is. It's like when we have to fucking question everything, shine a light on it.
Yeah.
You've seen how gay that is.
Yeah.
So now at 27 and younger, you guys are more tolerable to me. You're more like, hey, I see shit for what it is. There's problems, I'll call it out. If it's bullshit, whatever, we just let it slide.
That's actually a pretty good point, because like the 33-year-old like hyper cringe people are like on the edge of the millennial generation.
Yes.
And the millennials and Gen Zs are pretty different. Like Gen Zs can more say what they want to say. It's millennials who do like the hyper language policing.
It's too much. So I like that you as a 27-year-old now, like we're getting generation back. And I appreciate that.
America's back.
America's back. You voted for change. I'm just kidding.
I was going to ask you too, because like 32-year-olds tell me that within a couple years I'm going to start having like body problems.
What do you mean?
Like, your back's going to hurt, your knees are going to get fucked up. Is that like a guarantee, or if I start taking care of myself hardcore right now, am I going to?
It depends. Are you talking to men who are on estrogen replacement therapy?
No, I'm just talking.
Okay.
I'm talking to like regular semi-alcoholic 34-year-old guys.
Oh yeah, just a regular dude.
Yeah.
I would say in some ways they're correct. In some ways they aren't correct. But I think what we got to do, honestly, dude, yoga. You got to start yoga now. LeBron James is as I watched him play the other night. He's 40 years old and he is in better shape than any of the other guys on the court. Like it's true when you see it up close. It is true as true can be. And he's got a perfect body, congruently perfect body. The waist to hip ratio,
it's really nice.
It's legit. It's amazing, dude. I was rock hard.
Yeah.
And so, but when I did some little deep diving, I spoke to ChatGPT.
Yeah.
And I said, how is LeBron so healthy? And all his teammates, people he's played with since early 2000, said LeBron was the guy doing yoga on the plane at 19, doing deep breathing and box breathing and stretching, when nobody was doing that. 2003, nobody's doing that.
Especially men at the time.
Exactly.
Like I feel like if you did yoga as a man in 2005, you're just like instantly called gay.
Well, the thing is, I think if you did yoga as a man in 2005, people assumed you were just a woman.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Especially if you had a short haircut.
Or you're like a pervert.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that yoga, I think, is the key. And then I did some more. And then there's some interviews with LeBron just speaking about, listen, he spends $2 million a year on his body, so I'm sure the cryo tanks and all that help too. But he was like, yoga is what he was doing from the beginning. So my advice to you would be yoga. And do it with a butt plug.
I'm down for whatever. I don't know about the butt plug.
I would say do it. Why not stretch everything out?
I was prepared to agree, and then I kind of missed that last point, and I'm like, yeah, I'm fucking down for anything.
But my thing is, you're stretching out your muscles. Why not stretch out the anus?
Yeah, I mean, I'm down to stretch everything out. But the point is, like, people tell me that, like, the first thing that's going to happen is my knees and back are going to start getting fucked up. Is that true, or is that just false narratives?
Not my back. Not my back. Now, to each their own. We all snowflakes. We're all different. But my back doesn't hurt, but my knee does, and my Achilles.
Oh.
I have a bum Achilles, dude. And that is something that I've dealt with for a while.
Yeah.
Achilles, by the way, is probably, if we're just going to be honest with each other, I would have to say probably the gayest muscle.
It's between your foot and your leg, right?
Yeah, and it's also the story of Achilles. It's a tendon. And also the story of Achilles is kind of gay. Like his mother dipped him in this water that would make him invincible.
How is that gay?
Because she was holding him by his Achilles, like, ew. And he was like, Mom, ew. And then, like, the only part of his body that could kill him is if you hit him in the Achilles. It's kind of a little like, you know.
Is that a biblical or ancient Greek story?
That's ancient Greek story.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like everybody was kind of gay at that point, right?
Yeah, I would say that we've done plenty of on my other podcast, History of Hyenas. We've talked about how everybody was just gay in antiquity, especially Alexander the Great.
Oh, you had a history podcast,
dude. It's called History Hyenas.
Dude, I have to check that shit out. I love history.
It was we had it from 2018 to 2020. Then we went on hiatus and we came back just in November, and now it's back, baby. And you should take a listen.
Okay, so I got a question for you about history. Top 3 most evil people of all time. And I bet you have a unique perspective because they expect you to say Hitler, Stalin, Pol Pot. Do you have like an alternative take on like the true most evil people?
Yeah. Jesus, Mother Teresa. No, I would say most evil. Okay, Hitler. I mean, yeah, that's the easy one. Everyone knows. Fine, but I would say really true evil, just real scum.
Yeah.
Just real scum of the earth. I mean, Genghis Khan was he killed everybody.
Yeah.
Genghis Khan.
But he gave him an option. He said, you could be a part of the Mongol Empire or we'll kill you. So I feel like they kind of brought it upon themselves.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you kill a Mongoloid. So Stalin was pretty bad.
Yeah.
Right? Do you know about, like, he killed, they say more people than Hitler.
Because of the famines and shit.
Yes, they killed him. Who was really bad, though?
Idi Amin, the Ugandan dictator. Idi Amin, he was pretty fucked up. He had like a torture facility beneath his presidential palace.
Not great.
Pol Pot was bad. Vlad the Impaler.
Bad.
Elizabeth Bathory. You heard about her?
Elizabeth Bathory, I don't know. Let's talk about her.
I don't know much, but I know she 8 kids before it was trendy.
She was like keto.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not great. I mean, Jack the Ripper, not great.
We don't even know who he was, though.
Well, supposedly, allegedly, they found out DNA on his on a shawl that somebody had from evidence from all those years ago, and it's linked to a Polish barber.
Whoa.
Yes, I forgot what his name was, but he's a Polish barber. Who's allegedly was, because people thought it was a surgeon who was killing everyone, but he found it to be a Polish immigrant barber. And the thing for me is, this all happened in the 1880s, and the thing for me is my daughter's godfather, shout out Dr. Luke, is a Polish immigrant who is a doctor. So I've asked him his whereabouts in the 1880s, and he just won't respond.
Damn, might be him.
Dude, could you imagine my kid's godfather was Jay the Rip?
That would be nuts.
That would be nuts, dude. Why are you here? Why are you in New York?
Oh, I'm in New York because I had a premiere for a new movie, and because I'm doing some videos and shit. And for this podcast, I'm a fan. So I was like, all right.
My man.
You emailed me 3 years ago, and I was like, it's time.
It's time. I know. I got a random... and you know what? I'm happy that we caught each other before because I'm not checking my socials as much anymore. So I'm happy because, every time you start to... You know how it is. It's like you're scrolling, and then you're scrolling with the left hand, and then slowly the right hand's gun in the mouth.
Yeah, I feel you, bro.
You know what I mean?
I have 2 phones now. I have one for social media and one for just like friends and family.
So how do you do it? What do you do the social media phone? Like, do you just check it once a day? What do you do?
I have like a 3 to 4 hour window where I do like a ton of social media stuff, and I'll even like schedule clips out for the day so I don't have to be on there. Like I hate that feeling when you're like going to bed and you've been watching Instagram shorts or whatever for like 2 fucking hours, learning nothing, and you're just like you can't sleep, your brain's all fried. So I've been putting myself on like a regimented schedule, and it's been way better.
Really?
Yeah.
That's not easy to stay on that regiment.
Yeah, it is though when like it just becomes baked into your habits, you know what I mean? So now it's like I think that the window is like it's actually 5 hours, like 12 to 5. You know what I mean? I'm just on there.
Work mode.
Yeah,
I have 3 kids, and the other day my girl was like yelling at me. She was like, "You're never fucking present. You're like always on the phone." And I'm like, "Okay, my career lives on my phone. My comedy, podcast clips, consuming stuff." So like, what do you want me to do? I was like, do you want me to like, maybe I need to go to like a room or like get an office somewhere, but then, you know, or like maybe you can just be like supportive.
Yeah, exactly.
Just
tell her.
Because it's addicting. It's consuming. Yeah. But that's why I like what you're doing, because at least you're doing something trying to make a difference. You know, like, what am I really doing? I'm posting videos and being like, look at me acting Puerto Rican.
Yeah, but
like, you know, but you're like actually like going to try to see what the migrant crisis is about.
Yeah.
You're talking. So I like that. You're using social media and these outlets for good and you know, shining some light on things. I like that.
Yeah, back in the day, like when you were like doing MTV shit, was there more of a separation between like, you know, your career in media and your personal life? Or has it always been like all encompassing?
No, it was definitely, because you would have to go to the place where the media was, where now the media is on our phone, which is we're all little Channel 5s, right?
Yeah.
We're all little.
Thank you.
We're all little networks and little content sources because it's our phone. Where it used to be when I started MTV's Guy Code and Girl Code, this is like 2011, 2012. Like, yes, I believe there were smartphones back then, but it wasn't as prevalent as it was now. So like, I would have to go to 345 Hudson Street where we would film Guy Code and like write all my notes during the day. They would send me the topics the day before, and I would write all day, like actual pen to paper writing jokes. And then, you know, we would film it for 4 hours, and then that was your day. You had a starting point and an ending point. Where with content, I don't know where it starts, where it ends. That's why I'm longing, in a way, even if it would make me a little bit less seen, to go back to like a traditional media, like a sitcom. Like, people are anti-sitcom now in my world specifically, but I'm going for one.
So like, you preferred that back in the day? Oh
yeah, just because also maybe if I didn't have a family, things would be different. But when you're trying to balance this with kids, I'm like, this is not. I can't attend to my 3-year-old and also be trying to like make clips and content and I can't do it.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like there needs to be like a start and an end. So I'm trying to get to that now, or I will take Valium. I will just fucking take it and I'll overdose.
How much do you have to take to die?
I smell a Channel 5 video. You want to do it, dude?
Because like I did one and it was awesome back in the day.
I've never taken anything like that. I've actually never taken like a pill or anything like that. I did edibles a couple of times, but then John the Father Grady, told me when I started, we actually couldn't release the episode because I started to get the darkness inside my brain started to come out in a way that was like insane, where John was like, for your own good, buddy. You didn't say anything bad about anyone. It was just the way you were talking about yourself. I don't think like your family wants to hear the opinion that you have of yourself.
So negative self-talk.
Bad, dude.
Inner demons coming to the surface.
The edibles came out. John, you know, and Pat, no. I mean, there's another guy, Vito, who's not here right now, but he's on. Well, he won't be here today. You'll meet him next time. They've taught, like, they have to, I don't know what it is about me, but I immediately will come in on certain days and just be like, it's over, nothing's working, I suck. But meanwhile, I have all this opportunity. Yeah, you ever feel that way?
Yeah, definitely sometimes, especially with what you're talking about with like with content always existing in like this short form crazy feedback loop. Like if something doesn't perform well, my first thought is like, it's over, I suck now.
So what do you do? How do you get out of it?
Like I said, I think just limiting the time frame. I think that in like 100 years, like we're still in the Wild West phase of the internet right now. Like we're still, the older people didn't even grow up with it. Imagine 2 centuries in the future where like everybody's brain fried from the internet. There's going to be like, people are going to vote to have regulations on screen time.
You really believe that?
Oh, dude, imagine 4 more generations of iPad kids. There's going to be like an anti-tech movement in like 2100.
You think like it's kind of like how similar to when people in the 30s were just smoking cigarettes all day, and then they found out how bad it was for you, so there's regulations now.
Yeah, and I think that content consumption is definitely worse than like cigarettes. I mean, what it does to your like attention span and critical thinking skills, it's making people so much dumber. Right. And that wasn't the purpose of the internet in the first place.
Right.
Yeah, I think the internet made people like way smarter for like 5 or 10 years. Back in the free internet days, like 2008, 2009.
Good point.
It was like if you were an online guy, like you knew about shit. Now if you're like an online guy, you like basically don't know anything about anything.
So yeah, because you know, it's funny you say that because me and my family went, I had a show somewhere on Long Island and we were in this hotel that was like an old castle. It was cool. And anyway, the power went out. So literally the whole castle just went out, and so the staff came around and they had like little candles, and they were like, you know, battery operated, but they were like these candles, and they were like, oh, you know, just for your lighting, we have these candles. So it's me, my kids are 14, 9, and 3. Me and my girl, we're like, hey, you know, what should we do here? And she's like, let's read to the kids. So I was like, okay. So we start reading to them, thinking like this will occupy them for 5 minutes. For like 2.5 hours, we were back and forth just reading a book that they had in this little like bookcase they had in our room, a book from like the 1940s.
How was that experience?
Well, what we learned, we were like, oh, the old way that people used to do it when people would just sit around and read to their children, our kids, even though they are iPad kids, they are very profoundly in the internet age, they forgot about all that and just listened to their parents read to them. They loved it.
Yeah.
And we were like, whoa, we got to do that like on a nightly basis. And that was 3 years ago, and we haven't done it once since then. Guys, this episode sponsored by BetterHelp. Shout out the great people at BetterHelp. I use it. Online therapy. I've been using it for years now. It really helps. I mean, it's, first of all, you don't have to go to an actual therapist's office. So that's good. It saves time. It saves, a lot of times it's like, I don't even want to get out of the house because I'm having anxiety. It's like, now I got to go to the office, blah, blah, blah. And then you cancel with this. Nope. Send the Zoom link. Go do it. Easy. And, they really help match me with a great therapist because you fill out this brief questionnaire. Took a few minutes. And then they match me up with a therapist that they knew would work for me. But if you do that and you don't like the therapist for whatever reason, you can switch anytime, easily, no questions asked. They're about you. They're about helping you. So I like them. Shout out BetterHelp. It's like we often hear about the red flags we should avoid, like in relationships. But what if we focus more on looking for green flags in friends and partners? Like if you're not sure what, and that's the thing. A lot of times we're not sure what these look like. Therapy can help you identify green flags. So don't only think that I got to go to a therapist because I have problems. It's like, it's much more than that. You can help literally identify positive things in your life that you may not see without a little help from a professional. Whether you're dating, married, building a friendship, or just working on yourself, it's time to form relationships that love you back. So right now, visit BetterHelp.com/chaos to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/chaos, 10% off your first month. Thank you so much, BetterHelp, for sponsoring the app. Guys, I want to talk to you about Live Good. We all take supplements, some of us a little bit more, but we should know what we're taking and why. But so many of these supplement companies, they charge ridiculous prices for products that really aren't even that special. It's frustrating and, frankly, unacceptable. That's why I want to introduce y'all to Live Good, a brand that's turning the supplement industry on its head. It's dome piece. It's cabeza for our Spanish-speaking audience. Live Good believes that everyone deserves access to high-quality supplements without the insane markups. Insane in the membrane. They offer premium products formulated by an industry-leading team of natural health experts, and they cut out the middleman to sell them at the lowest prices everywhere. Here's the thing. I've been taking a little Live Good. I really enjoy it. They got these organic super greens that taste great, and I like it. I actually do feel healthier. Multivitamins, collagen, weight loss products, protein powder, creatine, detox, hormone products, skincare products, all highest quality products at prices people can actually afford. So right now, if you're ready to make the switch and start saving, we make it even easier for you. Use our link, and you can save an additional 10% off your first order on top of the already lowest prices. Just go to livegood.com/chaos to save 10% on your first order. That's livegood.com/chaos. Don't miss out on this opportunity to invest in your health without overspending.
That's the thing, is it takes a lot of like patience and discipline.
Yeah.
Because like kids can be a lot to deal with. So if you give them something that they're like glued to for a couple hours, like that makes it easier for the parents. So I don't blame them too. Like shit, I'd rather give somebody an iPad and be able to do my own thing than read, Harry Potter to them for 4.5 hours.
You know what? One thing I will say, like lately's been happening is we have been having like yesterday we went to California Pizza Kitchen. We're classy, and so we want to celebrate my big Hulu special. So we went out to a little California Pizza Kitchen. Shout out Atlas Mall. Thank you for the hair in my shrimp.
I thought they gave you a free slice or something.
No, I'm kidding. California Pizza Kitchen in Atlas Mall. Actually, great staff, great people. Go to that California Pizza Kitchen. It's dope. And they did give my kid a free sundae, so totes my goats preach. And so, but we implemented this rule of like, hey, like rather than like even the crayons when they give you like a crayon and like a map, girl, she's artistic, so she was like, don't like finish that stuff up, but then turn it over, and like I want you to draw a painting of like your experience here with us, like at the end, like while we're eating, like what do each kid, you know, wanted to draw something, and my little one fucking drew a swastika.
Oh wow!
And I was like, Kanye. No, but it is true. It is. She didn't draw the swastika, but they do draw. So I think, you know, do you want kids?
Yeah, I'm trying to at some point.
You really? I thought you're actively trying to.
No,
now?
I'm not like
You're not pulling out.
Yeah, I mean, my girl doesn't want to have kids right now because she wants to get married first. Cause she's
Gay.
like, yeah, I'm like, what? I want to have some
Gay marriage.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But like, you know, I think it'd be sick to have some kids.
Dude, it's sick. And I'm actually engaged now. Me and my girl have been together for 10 years, and we've just recently got engaged like 2 months ago.
Nice.
So we have this entire family, and we've had it for years, but we're not married because your boy was scared.
Okay.
But now I'm not scared anymore because I'm desperately looking for just some type of stability in my life because there's so much instability on the internet in my career.
For sure.
So I try to get it based at home. And then when you start to get, you know what happens too, as you start to get older, you start to really question, like, because you don't even realize, like, as you're growing up, you're like chasing something, chasing money, chasing fame, whatever. And then you get to a point where you're like, what do I actually care about though? Why am I actually doing this? And then because you just get exhausted, like chasing. I mean, you're running.
Yeah.
So now I'm coming to the realization that, you know, I don't even know if I want to do any of this.
Yeah, I mean, my biggest fear, to be honest, is like not having kids soon enough because like my parents had me when they were 24 and 25, and we're like friends. You know, we're like we're not so generationally divided to where like we can't have a conversation. But like, do you remember having those friends who had like old ass parents?
Yes.
And like, I just don't want to be that guy who I'm like, what are you talking about, kid?
Yeah, dude.
What's skibbity toilet?
Yeah, you don't want that. You want like a parent so old that he's like, do you have any colored friends?
Yeah, no. There was really parents like that back in the day.
I know, that's what I'm saying. No, I'm bringing that up because there was a parent in my neighborhood when I was a little kid who there was a Dominican kid in our class. He was a great kid, and the father didn't mean it, but he was like, "Oh, I really like the colored kid."
Yeah, he's like,
Jesus Christ!
It's like Jackie Robinson shit.
They were like, "Shut up! You can't say that."
So you grew up in Brooklyn? Queens.
Ridgewood, Queens.
So shout out Ridgewood. You've lived in like all the 5 boroughs?
Except the Bronx, but I'm actively trying to buy a house there now.
Yeah, I feel that. Now's the time.
Just to hit everyone, baby.
And what do you think's the most underrated borough of the 5?
Staten Island.
That's so crazy you said that because I was at an anti-Elon Musk protest a few days ago, and some lady called it Satan Island.
Right.
And I pointed out that my perception of Staten Island is pretty fragmented because I have on one end Wu-Tang and the Shaolin mythology.
Sure.
And then I also have Jersey Shore, and somewhere in there is Pete Davidson, and I guess now you.
Right.
So where's the truth?
And the Impractical Jokers.
They're all from Staten Island.
All Staten Island guys.
Okay, so that gives me a better perspective. Is it kind of like Jersey?
And Colin Jost from SNL.
Okay.
And Rich Eisen from the Rich Eisen Sports Show.
Okay.
And Pat Shamahaf right
Christina Aguilera.
And Christina Aguilera.
So you guys have more people than I thought. Yeah.
Dude, no, Staten Island's called the Borough of Parks. They call it the 5th borough, the forgotten borough, which, to be honest with you, as a previous Staten Island resident, I could say the attitude in Staten Island is good. We want you to forget about it. Don't move here.
Yeah.
We don't want you here. When you cross that bridge, the Verrazano Bridge, shout out to Verrazano Bridge, when you cross that bridge, you really feel like you're kind of going back in time, specifically in New York history. All like the Italian, like Guido population, quote unquote, that lived in Brooklyn in the 60s and 70s, they all migrated to Staten Island. So like the best food, the best pastas, the best Italian, all that is there.
Yeah.
Are there problems with it? Of course, it's like the suburbs of suburbs, and people have a knock on it that they don't like it. And I bought into that narrative a little bit. That's why we moved. And as soon as we moved, we were like, why did we move from this place?
Yeah.
We should have just stayed there. It was fun there. And there's a knock on it that like, oh, you know, Staten Island, it's all like Guidos and stupid people. And by the way, every borough has that. The people that we met in Staten Island, especially on the North Shore, I mean, Ivy League educated, beautiful homes. Like George Washington and the Continental Army in the 1700s, they loved Staten Island. The British said Staten Island was the most important part of the taking New York. So everybody wanted Staten Island back in the day. So I think if you were gonna move to New York and you wanted to raise a family, I would say go to Staten Island.
Yeah, I'm like starting a new show in the fall. Can't say the name yet because I don't want someone else to copyright it before I do. But it's gonna be like an artistic profile series on different neighborhoods, boroughs, small towns, and shit. And I want to do something on Staten Island not play into like the hyper Guido stereotype.
No,
because I try to explain to people who aren't from the East Coast, because I'm from Philadelphia originally, like because of the way people have migrated from the cities in the 60s and 70s, all real like East Coast people and East Coast accents are more or less in the suburbs nowadays.
Yes.
Like if you want to go to Philadelphia, you're going to find real Philly people in Delco and Chester County, like even in South Jersey. Then if you go to Center City or some of these hipster areas, you're not going to hear Philly accents.
Right.
And the same shit for Manhattan.
I've always said that. A real New Yorker to me, and I guess it's because of the decades I grew up in, is an outer borough person. Somebody from Queens, Brooklyn, the Bronx, or Staten Island. When you meet someone who's from Manhattan, unless they're black or Latino,
right.
you know, because black and Latinos have a very New York accent too. I always know when a black and Latino person is from New York. If I'm seeing it on TV, I could hear it.
Yeah.
So that's different. Like my good friend of the show, Sergio Chacon, born and raised in the Lower East Side. Like he's New York as it comes. But white people from Manhattan typically don't have a New York accent at all. Like, and there's very New York things about them, but they don't have like, when you hear me talk, I'm from New York, right? You know, so, but people who are born and raised on the island of Manhattan, because they come from super, super wealthy families typically. Yeah. That is just like, it's a different thing. So for us, you know, on the outer borough, like we would never even go to Manhattan really. Like kids from Brooklyn and Queens, like I got to be honest with you, I didn't start going to Manhattan until I was like 26 years old. I didn't meet my first Jewish friend till I was 23, and I grew up in New York.
That's crazy.
You know, because it's very insulated.
Yeah, that makes
sense.
You
know, Pat, you too. You're from Staten Island. Were you going into the city like that growing up?
No, but I would like sneak onto the ferry after high school, and like the ferry was a big deal in Staten Island because it's the only way to Manhattan without like paying anything.
Right,
it's free.
It's a beautiful journey too.
Right.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, we would go and sneak on the ferry here and there, but no, not often. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Dude, let's be honest, dude, and I've said this probably for the last 6 weeks in a row. What I do, I get into little kicks and little eras, and then I just forget that I even ever was that person. The original 13 colonies, that's just where America is, and that's just where the best places are to be.
Oh, man, that's a tough one for me. What about the frontier? Think about it. Okay, I understand Midwest, not necessarily the spot. Southeast, not really the spot. South, not the spot. I'm going to agree with you, but can we please add the American Southwest to this bracket?
So you're talking like the Wild Wild West?
Yeah, kind of. But if we're going to go 13 colonies, was dope. Second dopest American settlement was the Wild West towns, and they still have a lot of swag, as the kids once said.
So like you're saying like Yellowstone,
Albuquerque, New Mexico,
okay.
Tucson, Arizona, Las Vegas, Nevada, Ely, Nevada, Reno, Nevada, Winnemucca, Nevada, Flagstaff, Arizona. There is a crest out there that I think you would also like.
Interesting, and they have a lot of history.
A lot of history, a lot of old school people, a lot of moments frozen in time.
Well, I know the little bit. I don't know a lot of history about that, so I would definitely love to learn. But I know the Wild Wild West, like those Wild Wild West like bandits, like what is it, like Billy the Kid and all that. They were just Confederate soldiers that after the Civil War, they weren't welcome back anywhere, so they just started migrating west to like find work and basically just applied their army skills to like rob people. But most of them were just old school Confederate soldiers that had lost the war.
I had no clue about that.
That's Channel 5,
dude. But yeah,
Channel 5, Channel 5.
What's your favorite of the 13 colonies?
I mean, obviously New York, it's where I'm from, but dude, I really, really, really love Boston and Massachusetts.
Dude, I love Boston too. It sucks how people just shit on Boston, especially in Philly, and because it's kind of a mutual thing, and it's actually sick. Boston rules. I think Boston, to me, if I could live anywhere else, I would live in Boston. It would be the first pick. I would love that. And then, even though it's not 13 colony, I would go to San Francisco. I love San Francisco because it's an East Coast city on the West Coast. Yeah, like in terms of layout or just attitude? I love the topography. I love the weather. I'm a kid who I like 55 to 65 weather. I don't like the heat. I don't mind if it gets too cold. I mean, obviously you don't love it, but I don't like the heat.
I don't like it.
So New York in the summertime, not for you.
I mean, I deal with it, but I've never loved it. Some people love the heat. I don't want a beach. I'm not a beach guy. I'm a pool guy. You know what I mean?
What's your perception of New Jersey?
My perception of New Jersey is it's the Garden State. So at one point, it was very valuable because they had, it was like the breadbasket of the 13 colonies. They used to say, whoever controls New Jersey will win the war. And
I didn't know that someone said that at some point.
Yes, dude. Well, they'll win the American Revolutionary War because that's where all the vegetables were. So you shout out veggies, and you need the Garden State. But nowadays, what do I think of New Jersey? It's a lot of traffic, a lot of malls.
Yeah.
I think of the singer JoJo. I don't know if you remember JoJo.
I'm going to a Mothman conference in Perth Amboy, Jersey.
Perth Amboy is right by Staten Island.
Never been there before, but it's the center of the cryptozoological New Jersey scene. So it just means all fake animals. I shouldn't say that. All never before seen animals.
Right. So Perth Amboy that's kind of, I think Perth Amboy is a little bit in the hood too, right? Roughly? No? You know what's a cool part in New Jersey that people sleep on? What's the town right over the bridge in Staten Island?
Elizabeth.
No.
Woodbridge?
Bayonne.
Sorry.
Bayonne.
Yeah.
Bayonne's a good one.
There's a lot of bridges.
You should step into Bayonne.
Yeah, I'm down. I'm a big fan of Neptune because of Springsteen. I like Asbury Park, Trenton. Some people say, "Oh, Trenton sucks."
Shout out to Capital.
Yeah, Trenton's awesome. I don't like Camden too much.
Right.
Ocean City.
They don't like you either. They're like, yo, police.
Yeah. Ocean City is sick. Atlantic City's also sick. Shout out to Jersey.
Shout out to Jersey, dude. Now, here's the thing is, John, normally I don't have John. Normally if John and Pat are sitting in, I have their mouths duct taped shut. I have them duct taped shut, and I have a slow drip Pat's from Lebanon, so Palestine.
Yeah.
And so we have a slow hummus drip usually, we just have them just eat. It's a whole thing we do. And but they're such big fans of you, and so I wanted them to come in and just get involved and talk about, because they consume your content, and it's just, dude, everybody who I've asked who's in their mid-20s to early 30s is a huge fan.
Thanks, man.
Huge fan, dude. And now I am too. Now I'm just in.
You're in the Channel 5 club. How does it feel?
Wait, I feel good actually.
Good.
When do you leave New York?
I don't have a return flight yet.
Okay, because I like when people shout out their hotel.
Oh yeah, shout out to the Hotel 1 Rivington. Actually sucks there. So no, my room flooded and one of the elevators is broken.
Oh really?
Yeah, totally.
Damn, dude.
But I should have stayed at the Bowery. I like that spot.
Yeah, the Bowery's dope.
Yeah,
I saw one time I was in the Bowery. My favorite band is the 1975, and I was just randomly walking to like somewhere, and I saw the 1975, my favorite band, walking out of the Bowery.
Holy shit.
And I was like, tried to get into one of their rooms, but whatever. I got arrested. But anyway, John.
Yeah. Is there?
John just had the norovirus, by the way.
A little while
It's all
ago.
good,
Yeah,
man.
no,
Don't
we're
worry
good.
about
He's
it.
okay.
I'm immune.
Yeah. Are you?
I took the vaccine.
Is there a vaccine for the?
I thought you said the Rona-virus.
Neuro.
What the hell? What the hell's the neurovirus?
Like a lot of
Puking,
pooping,
shitting.
water,
Oh, okay,
pooping
cool.
water,
I'm not
throwing
immune
up.
to that.
Yeah.
I'm back on tour. I really am. And I'm coming to your city. Go to ChristyComedy.com. We have Florida's on sale, Tampa, Orlando. We've just put Texas on sale. In April, Houston, Austin, Dallas. Then at the end of April, we have New Haven and Albany. Then we got in May, Washington, D.C., Durham, North Carolina, and Charleston, South Carolina. In June, Kansas City and Denver. July, Minneapolis and Winnipeg. September, Nashville and Chicago. September 11th, New York City, baby, Madison Square Garden. October 9th and 10th, Boston, Massachusetts, coming back to the Wilbur, which I love so much. October 23rd, finally coming to Atlanta. October 24th, Richmond. October 25th, Baltimore. November, we're coming to Vancouver and Seattle and Portland. And then at the end, we're coming to Bethlehem, Pennsylvania and Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. ChristyComedy.com. If you don't see your city there, DM us, email us. But let your friends know your boy's coming with a brand new hour. And watch my comedy special on Hulu Right now, it's called It's Just Unfortunate. I love you. Yeah, John, by the way, he's grew out his facial hair. He looks like he's from the American frontier.
Yeah, you do kind of look like a Red Dead NPC in a good way.
He's got frontier face.
No, this is the longest my beard is.
He's got post-Confederate vibes.
He does. Yeah. I like it.
But no, I got a few questions, but one of them, is there like a convention you've attended that you could like recommend to anybody going? Like,
Yeah, you should go to the Midwest Fur Fest in Rosemont, Illinois.
Okay.
Okay.
What? Tell us.
Furries aren't as weird as you might think. They're actually pretty nice.
Okay.
Once you can get past the fursuit thing, they're a relatively welcoming community.
Nice.
That one was pretty sick. I haven't been to a convention in a long time. Because after you go to like 100 in a row, you just despise conventions.
Sure.
You know,
Sure.
you hate the laminated big-ass badge, the vibes, all the vendors who are just there to sell shit.
Yep.
Right. Yeah, so all right.
What's the last convention that you've been to?
I've been to I had to do comedy at what's the big one in San Diego? Comic-Con.
Comic-Con.
Yep, I did
Oh, okay.
Comic-Con. That was a big one. And then that's about it. I don't really go to that many conventions or concerts.
Yeah.
But I should.
At Comic-Con, was it like a live podcast or a stand-up set?
So they just wanted me to go interact. I think it was for Doritos, the chip brand. I think
I'm
they
familiar.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think they wanted me to. I just had to interact like with people. Like I did a push-up contest with this woman who was Superwoman. She crushed it. Then like they wanted me to just do like a couple of like things with the people. Like I did a bit with Stan Lee.
Yeah.
You know, and that's not the Thermos. Stan Lee, the guy that created the Marvel characters.
No, I'm familiar. Is he still alive?
No, I killed him at the convention. But I gotta get into more things.
Yeah.
More convention things.
Dude, I got paid once by this company called Clark's who makes shoes to do one of those what they call activations. I couldn't believe I got paid for it. Like you're saying, I just kind of hovered around their thing and they're like, just chill out here. Like, just get. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's it.
So I was just taking pictures of people like, and they were filming me like, yo, can you shout out Clark's? And I was like, let's go Clark's. And they gave me like $1,000 in cash after 20 minutes.
That's freaking
I was
amazing,
like,
dude. What we really got to get into, and hopefully they're listening, is I want to get that Saudi money. I want to get involved with Saudi Arabia. What they're starting to do now, I got a couple of friends who are getting flown out to Saudi Arabia, and if they're like in a movie that like the Saudis like, they'll have a couple of guys got flown out to Saudi Arabia to whatever like the main city is there. I don't know.
Riyadh
Drive.
Is it Riyadh?
Riyadh.
Jeez.
That's see the fuck it right.
Now they're gonna fucking kill me.
This is the Middle Eastern dude. The Middle Eastern kid. He knew it. Riyadh, and he said he had it with that accent. Riyadh. And so they got flown out. Sick money, dude. Like first class Emirates, which is like you get caviar, like a shower.
There's like a bed, right?
Sick, dude.
Yeah.
All they had to do was walk around a party of a sultan, recite lines from the movie that they liked. No stand-up, no nothing. Just do a couple of lines.
Yeah.
That's it, and then flew home.
Dude, that's what I'm saying about like people say money can't buy taste, and you especially see that in Dubai.
Yes.
You're like everything is top tier, all these nice cars and designer brands, but like there's nothing actually cool there.
Here's the thing: people also say money can't buy happiness. I do agree, but it can make life a lot easier. So I think there is I think after a certain amount, for sure. Like I don't know that you're infinitely happier with, 10 million versus 100 million. I don't know, but I do think that like there is a sense of like money can give you some types of luxuries that can make your life a bit better.
As far as like the core needs, I think that money can buy security. It just can't buy connection.
Yes.
However, it's easier to have connection when you have security. You know what I mean? So like if you're paying for a spot with you and your lady, and you know what I mean, like it's easier to have a good connection. If you lose that spot, she might not fuck
like
with
the house that we had on Staten Island that I foolishly sold. Where we're living now, I know for like our relation, everything was better at the nicer house. It just was. There's no way around it. Even though I had to pay more for it, there's no way around it. It was, and when somebody will be like, oh, but it's not the house, it's the home. You make the home. You should be able to connect to your family. All that stuff is true. But when my kids were sitting in a bedroom that was much bigger, a more renovated kitchen for my girl, she would cook more. It's not there's these other things that happen when you have a little bit of money that like life just gets a little bit better. I'm not saying you can't do it without it, but the people that say can't buy happiness are a little I don't want to say misguided, but like you said, because it's about connection, which I 100% agree, but sometimes being a little bit more well off or having a little bit more financial security helps you with that connection.
Yeah, and I've read online too that there's a similar depression rate with like the bottom, 10% and the top 1%.
I believe that 100%.
Because especially like imagine if you have $100 billion or some shit like, or even a couple $1 billion, like almost every relationship in your life is going to be inauthentic.
Transactional.
Because
every relationship.
no matter how cool somebody seems, you never know when they're going to pop the question like, can you invest in my ice cream shop?
100%. 100%. I couldn't agree with that more. But it's also too, I think we're in a world where I'm trying to get to a mindset of just being happier with less. Just saying, hey man, you have enough. Like things are good enough. Stop always this, because if you get stuck in this, I always want more. Treadmill, baby. Hedonic treadmill.
And we're indoctrinated like as a society to want that.
Yeah. Like you go to other countries, they're not about that life.
Hell no.
Like, I mean, some other countries, well, you've traveled the world, right? Have you been to a country you're like, I like this nation's mindset?
Yeah,
more than
Mexico.
Really?
Fuck yeah.
Because why? Because their mindset is we don't have to have it all type thing?
A lot of people there, if they can buy a house and just provide for their family and no one has to work like particularly hard and like hate their life, they're like, oh, sick, we did a great thing. Todo está bien.
Right, exactly. And so you're saying El Presidente.
Yeah.
And
but that's not referring to like the migrants who are like from like the slums who are coming here, like regular middle class or even what you consider lower working class Mexican families.
An MCM,
like,
a middle class Mexican.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. Once they can afford a house, like a lot of countries are like that, even in Latin America. Like in Jamaica, it's like that. In Cuba, it's like that.
They're not making the housing out of reach financially for their citizens. Their housing is affordable.
But unfortunately, like, I don't want to get too meta here, but like the economic domination of a lot of these countries makes it almost impossible for a lot of people to do that. But where it can be achieved, you see people are happy.
Yeah, like I saw in Germany, Germany, what they do is they have like some of the lowest homelessness in Europe, because what they do, what the government does, like your tax dollars as a German citizen, I believe this is true, they buy like housing for like people who would have been homeless. So they buy these houses, and then you can't sell your house for a certain percentage more of what you bought it for. So somebody who bought a house for, the thing is too, like the baby boomers who just like inherited like homes at good prices. I mean, they really truly are like pure fucking scum. When you bought a house for $80,000 and now you're trying to sell it for $3 million, when that's not right. Like you shouldn't do that. But they're scum, and they're all like have just inherited stuff. Not all scum.
Well,
by
if
the
you
way.
look at it like with the GI Bill after World War II, some of the returning veterans got like almost zero cost mortgages to buy homes in like these new suburbs.
Yeah, like Levittown.
Levittowns.
Yeah.
So the boomers like didn't go to the war, and they just grew up in these like picket fence homes. They were the first suburban generation.
Yes. So those people now, not hardened by anything, and I get it. I get it. Like they want to make a profit, but you put it out of reach for the youth. You're kind of hurting your own country, hurting your own grandkids.
Yeah. And
I feel blessed in a way that I can't afford some of these homes, but I could get my family to a nice home with a nice life.
Yeah.
But some of my peers or other people I listen to, I'm like, you like even like a home that's really should be like $400,000 is like 1.9 million, and you're like, what?
Yeah.
Why?
And then to make things
just
worse,
gouging me.
To make things worse, you have like all these states and counties like criminalizing homelessness. Like there was something in Oregon called the Grants Pass Law. It's a conservative town in the eastern part of the state where like if you're caught being homeless 3 times, you just go to jail for like 90 days.
Right.
And you have like this criminal record which prevents you from getting your ID and work papers and a ton of different shit. So like most states are doing that, like in Idaho and Montana, like all these plains states. And then what's happening is you have like all of these homeless people who are fleeing what's basically like persecution, going to cities that have also sort of insane open air drug policies. And you're just like, you have these two mentalities creating this thing, and all of a sudden it's like it's a liberal city problem when it's really just like an American issue.
Yeah, you have homelessness being criminalized, open air drug policies being kind of promoted, combined. San Francisco.
Yeah, dude.
That's what it is.
But even
hold on, wait.
Oh, respect. I
you,
respect that
brother.
you didn't let that go right after SF.
Appreciate it, man.
But even like, it's fucked up. Like people say, oh, SF is like the #1 example of like liberals ruining shit. But like Gavin Newsom had the opportunity to open up like a safe injection site in the Tenderloin. You're familiar with SF?
Sure, I was just there last week.
You know, there's like 12 by 12 blocks in the Tenderloin where it's like open air fentanyl mayhem.
100%.
You know, like it's literally like a third world.
That's why
country.
I went after my shows.
Yeah, and it's apocalyptic because it's
it's wild. It really truly is human shit in the street. Like it's crazy to go. I went there. It's wild.
And vacant apartment buildings and tech offices all around them.
Yeah.
So Gavin Newsom had the opportunity to create like literally a walled-in city where people could go under the supervision of harm reduction people and also like those who assign jobs and help people get placed for housing. But he didn't do it.
Right.
Because he was like, I don't want to be seen by the conservatives as being this like enabler.
Right.
But he didn't do anything to actually clean up the streets of the Tenderloin.
Yeah.
So even in these like so-called like progressive open-air Amsterdam drug utopias, there's still like work to be done.
Yeah.
It's not fully being done.
Right. Well, I mean, we know this. It's like a broken record, but like the politicians, they don't care about the country anymore. It's about themselves and all that. But you see, when I went to, first of all, I just came from San Fran a week ago. Outside of the Tenderloin, it's not that like crazy.
Not
but
at all.
like it's a narrative now where you're like, oh, my homelessness is out of control. It's like it actually was beautiful there.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw homeless people, but you see them in New York and in pretty much every city. But the Tenderloin was bad. I'll give you that. But other than that, I was like, I don't know, dude. Oakland was worse.
Yeah.
When I landed in Oakland. Did you ever fucking drive through Oakland?
Yeah.
Shout out Oakland. I mean, I literally was driving through that place like, did the Southern California fires hit Oakland? Like, this fucking place looks burnt down.
In the 60s.
But they're like, this is just Oakland. And I was like, holy shit. All you ever hear is how bad San Francisco is. I was like, let's get a narrative going about Oakland. Like, I mean, great people there. I stopped. I had a lunch at a great place in Oakland. And people were awesome. But I was like looking around. I was like, this feels worse.
Yeah. Oakland has more like what they call bipping. So it's like break-ins, robberies, shootings. San Francisco has more like drug crime, which by extension goes into like shoplifting and like a lot of shit that junkies do.
Dude, I hit a glory hole down in San Fran. I saw Paul Pelosi. What else?
What do you think did happen with that situation?
I genuinely, truly, in my heart of hearts, think it was a gay tryst thing. I think it was a gay thing that just went wrong. And then they had to be like, this guy is... Because, I mean, police show up and Paul's just in his underwear with this guy.
Yeah, I like how you first named him.
Paul.
No, I know what you're saying. And like the way how there's this like 4-second pause and then the hammer guy starts hitting him, I'm like, it's almost like Paul said, yo, like you got to do something crazy so they don't think we're fucking.
Yes, I believe that. And by the way, now I'm just putting this all together now. If there is a movie, you could play the hammer guy in the movie. You kind of don't look that different than him. You got the hair. You kind of like, you know what I mean? You could play crazy and wily.
I could do that.
I actually think he could do it, right? What do we got, John? What else? John was, dude, John's fucking excited. You don't understand, like this kid, when I said you were coming on, he was like, dude, he literally showed me a video of just splooge all over his he fucking hit himself in. He literally hit himself in the chest with his own splooge because he used. So congrats, man.
Well, the floor is yours, man. Ask me whatever.
Sure. So have you ever had like an exchange with somebody or a convincing experience while filming content about cryptids that like maybe made you question?
No.
Not one thing.
I mean, I believe in all cryptids.
Sure.
What's cryptids, please?
It's just like Bigfoot, Mothman, Jersey Devil. One of those.
Sure.
No, not particularly.
Okay, so like, what do you think it is like about those people that kind of follow those trends, or just like the cryptid stories that like makes them like gung ho believe?
Well, I mean, let's think about the mind of a kid. All kids believe in Bigfoot. It's fun, When you're a kid, you have more like pixie dust in your mind about like what could be out there because you haven't, been jaded by the experiences of life. So I think that the cryptid community should be cherished for their naive nature and sense of adventure, not made fun of. But still, like, it is kind of funny when they, what always happens is like you can rise to the top of that little subculture if you just say that you saw Bigfoot.
100%.
So there's a lot of infighting where it's like, I've looked for Bigfoot my whole life. I haven't seen him. And some kids like, bro, I just saw him. And so it's kind of a lot of the clout chasers fracture the Bigfoot community, and it's got some problems. Yeah. But overall, I mean, if there was cryptids out there that were hyper intelligent and they saw a film crew, they would not reveal themselves. So I don't think it's fair for me to be like, there's no Bigfoot, because if they are hyper intelligent, and if there's 50,000 of them, which the community suggests, and they're like hyper evolved, perhaps alien species, they would avoid.
They would avoid detection. Let's play this now. Fuck, marry, kill. Cryptids, crypto, Crips.
Well, definitely not gonna kill the Crips.
You're gonna fuck them and marry them though.
I probably fuck the cryptids.
Fuck the cryptids.
Because then there's a possibility of a human-animal hybrid, which could change the understanding of the whole species.
That would be sick. It's well thought out. Okay, so we're fucking the cryptids.
Married the crypts for protection.
Smart.
And who would I have to kill? Oh, kill crypto. Yeah,
You got to
for sure.
kill crypto.
Yeah.
Wow. All right.
And if I killed crypto, Miami would be cool again. You know, there's a
True.
lot of shit that would happen.
Yeah. I know. I had a friend of mine just yesterday text me like about some new. He was like, "Oh, you into crypto?" I was like, I got some Bitcoin. Like it's all on Coinbase, like whatever. And he goes, "No, dude. Like that's not the way to go." He was like, Bitcoin. He was like, you hold it, like that's fine, like you just whatever. He goes, but all these, and then he sends me like these YouTube videos. He goes, you got to get on this site, whatever the site is, and he goes, you got to get this coin, and then it's all about pump and dump. That's how you make money. I'm like, isn't that illegal?
Yeah, it is.
You're not. I was like, so why are you like? I will just stay on the legal one, Coinbase. I buy it, and it's an investment. I understand. I don't understand Bitcoin, but I get it.
Yeah.
It's like J.P. Morgan's involved in it. I'm like, I'll just buy that, and I just hold it. But the other stuff, if you're telling me the way to make money on this is pump and dump, I feel like maybe right now and today, present day America, it's not a crime. But I'm like, I don't want to do that,
dude. As somebody that could be perceived as an influencer, my number one thing is to stay away from anything crypto or Bitcoin related.
100%.
Because it's like it's such a classic trope. Like think about what happened to Hawk Tua.
Yeah,
she was beloved, I think, by some.
Yeah.
And now, because of, did you see like the CoffeeZilla expose on her and her pump and dump coin?
Well, yeah, and I didn't see it. Shout out CoffeeZilla. I love his videos. He's the guy who does the suspenders, right?
He's like the boogeyman if
like
you're involved
CoffeeZilla.
in crypto.
Yeah. So I think I watched a video with him like a year ago. Which one was it?
You were in a fantasy football league with Hawk Tua.
With Hawk Tua. I was in a fantasy football league with Hawk Tua. And she wasn't on, though. She, like her assistant or something, represented her.
Yeah.
But I was on a group text with it. But because those meme coins, to me, it's like, when we brought back History Hyenas podcast, obviously nowhere in the scope of as big as Hawk Tua or any of these people, but we got all these messages. Hey, we're making a History Hyenas meme coin. Like this, all you have to do is X, Y, and Z. And like very obviously, Giannis, my podcast partner, were like, well, don't even respond. That's ridiculous. Why would we get involved in this? But I feel like someone like a Hawk Tua, she was just thrust into this fame so quickly that I genuinely don't think she believed she was doing anything wrong.
No,
I genuinely don't think she did.
Not at all.
And I don't think she should have any repercussions because I don't think she honestly believed this. Her people might.
I mean, she probably had some weird ass manager.
That's what I'm saying. People probably like, this is what you got to do, blah, blah, blah. But like, what was it? She talked about, she promoted a meme coin and said, buy it right now, and then sold it? Like, what did she do? I
don't know. But I do know that if you're a person who purchases a meme coin, you probably shouldn't have any money.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what the hell is that? Why don't you just invest in something real? Do you have like any friend with a business idea? Like, what the hell's wrong with you?
Yeah, the only reason why I'm okay, I'm not suggesting anyone, is just because once I saw J.P. Morgan with Bitcoin, I was like, okay, it's an app. I could see that.
Yeah.
But the other stuff, I was just like, I was funny when this guy was texting me, and I'll tell you his name off air. You know who he is. I was like, I feel like you shouldn't do this. And he's like, dude, it's fine. It's the way to make money right now. And I was like, just stop.
Dude, just stop. Did you see the president of Argentina just got caught in like a $4 trillion Bitcoin pump and dump scheme?
No.
Because after the president of El Salvador, Bukele, who has like that big ass MS-13 jail,
yes,
he nationalized cryptocurrency as like El Salvador's currency. There's a big crossover with like more conservatives and Bitcoin. I don't know what the hell's going on there. I think it has something to do with like libertarian, no market regulation. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I do know that like, so the president of Argentina like just did the ultimate pump and dump.
Right.
And like,
he's in trouble.
He's in trouble, but like nobody's even really that mad at him. They're just like, you're a businessman.
Well, because I don't think it's like I think that's one of those things that goes along with like the internet. Like it will be criminalized that, like, dude, you ready for this? Mm-hmm. Back in the day, like colonial America, you could, anything with your family, like you literally could technically like kill a family member and it was a family issue. The state or the country would only get involved if like, you A, wanted to press charges and then they would like whatever, or B, you like killed someone like on public property. But if you like killed your wife in your house, they were like, that's a family issue. We don't get involved.
Damn.
I was like, holy shit. So like rules evolve, where I feel like that's with crypto. It's like things are not problems today.
Right.
But you should like think about it. And again, I don't even understand it enough to know, but it just feels like when I see pump and dump, I just feel like I don't know. It doesn't seem right.
Yeah, I tried to go to one conference back in the day called the Crypto Alpha Con. It was like an alpha male convention for dudes who wanted to make money off influencers. And I got there.
Sponsored by Andrew Tate.
Yeah, I got there. This is like pre-Tate. This is like, it was in Utah. And when I think we sent a production team there, and they sent us an email that was like, you guys are actually beta, like you have to go. We're like,
you're a crypto beta.
I was like, fuck, they saw our content.
Damn, dude. Yeah, and then, and obviously, dude, John fucking watched Dear Kelly twice.
Oh shit, do you have any questions about it?
I don't know. I mean, I know you probably can't speak about the Bill Joyner stuff right now, and I don't want to spoil anything.
Oh, I can speak about the Bill Joyner lawsuit.
Is that going well?
Yeah, I don't know. So I'm being sued by a guy because the protagonist of my film talks shit about him. And the guy suing me is named Bill Joyner.
Yep.
And he says, I'm a private individual. Even though you didn't defame me, you platformed someone who did, who plucked me out of my privacy and made me a public individual. So you it's
defamed me.
But I didn't defame him.
But you didn't
And the
defame
movie is not defamatory of him.
The movie's legit.
If anything,
dope.
I feel like you
Thanks.
kind of cleared his name from what Kelly had been kind of saying.
I think so too.
Yeah.
And we filed an anti-slap motion. I'm sure you have some law students who are watching this show. So slap is
anti-slap slaps.
Basically, yeah. Like if somebody sues you as a journalist for defamation, you can cite an anti-slap statute. I don't know what it stands for, which basically protects you. But it cost me like $100,000 in legal fees.
Well, let me ask you this: Do you ever? Because I always wonder about this. Because I'm personally, because I think I have anxiety. I'm a pussy. Like I'm beta. I have an alpha haircut, a beta brain.
Okay.
So I think that I essentially don't want that smoke. I essentially want to just do my comedy. I try, I offend people all the time accidentally, mainly members of my family and people that are, really close to me. So that's what I do, but it's, typically accidental. But like, I don't want that smoke in the sense of like, I have peers of mine that will like go after big celebrities and like, they want to like get it going on the internet. Now you put out a movie like this, probably understanding that Bill Joyner may not be happy about this. Does getting that smoke, even though I understand how it is BS, getting that smoke give you anxiety, make you nervous? How do you feel about that?
I mean, at first, yeah. But I mean, I just understand at this point that like it's a warpath no matter what. Especially when you're going against, as a journalist, when you're going against the larger machine itself, they're not going to let you off easy.
Do you ever honestly, truly think like somebody could kill you one day for like getting high enough and exposing something dark enough?
Yeah. And
then how do you deal with that?
Well, I'm ready to die for it, so.
You genuinely are?
Yeah.
That's wild. How do you think they'd kill you if they got you? What would you prefer?
Like assassin. I don't want to speak that into existence, but I mean, I know how I don't want to go.
Tell me.
What's that book, The Cast of Amontillado, the Edgar Allan Poe story where they put that fool behind the cinder block wall and they put the bricks up and he's back there just like rotting to death slowly.
That
would be bad.
That would not be great.
Or they could put you in one of those caves, those caves where those cave divers are with the selfie sticks and they can only breathe for like a millimeter. Just anything claustrophobia related is how I don't want to go. Or they could put you on an anchor like the pirates used to do and make you go to the bottom of the ocean. Davy Jones' locker. Don't want that.
And then just let you drown down there.
Yeah.
What? That. Or I wouldn't want them to like rub a whole bunch of like like animal blood all over me and then throw me out into like the Serengeti and let me get eaten by lions.
Yeah, that would be pretty bad.
Would that suck or what?
That would be pretty bad, bro. They also have a heart attack gun. The CIA developed a gun where they can point it at you and it has some frequency that just makes you have obviously a heart attack.
And like, by the way, it's probably inconspicuous. Like not like an actual gun where they have to go like that. Yeah. It's probably like a button and you're like, pew.
Yeah.
Damn, dude. So that's cool that you're ready to die for it, though.
Well, I don't.
What if you had? But you also said you want a wife and kids. So
I don't want to die. I definitely don't want to die. But I found my purpose in life completely. So when you have that, you're gonna die one day, no matter what. Might as well die doing what you're supposed to.
Right. Yeah, I don't think I found my purpose yet. Then
I think you have, man.
Yeah.
You look.
I would die for my kids.
You have the kids. But I
would die for my wife and kids. I really would.
So that's pretty cool that you said that, as opposed to like, I would die for comedy.
No, I wouldn't. To be honest with you, I love my my soon-to-be wife and kids, and I would absolutely die for them. And I do comedy because I genuinely do love it. I do love it, and it provides a relatively good living for my family, and we have some freedoms, and I really appreciate that. And shout out to the fans. But I don't ever. If I'm being honest with you, I don't care about being the best or the GOAT. Some of my peers have those aspirations, and I just don't have that. I really just don't.
In my experience, like you start becoming the GOAT and succeeding heavily when you stop trying to become it. Like when I try the least and just like actually put passion into a project, that's when shit really starts moving. But if you're trying to be like, I'm gonna post 5 banger clips of content every day and get my shit up, like people can tell when you're just doing that.
Yeah, I don't. It's like I almost feel like I'm doing a little bit less now because I'm just like, oh, what do I actually want to do? I'm thinking more about like, what do I actually want to do? And I'm prioritizing much more like time with my family over like, money, where it's like, or if it is money, if I do have to leave my family, it's because the money is a certain amount where I can buy like freedom to get time back with them.
Right. Like you would do 2 years in Dubai.
Right.
If you got like $100 million, you can come back, get a mansion in Staten Island, and just kick
100%, dude. $100 million wouldn't even get me a mansion in Staten Island. Dude, this shit is crazy.
Shit's
out
going
there.
up, bro.
Yo, Pat. What do you got to say,
Pat,
dude? Talk to Andrew about teach Andrew about Lebanon.
Andrew, what do you want to know about? Have you ever been to Lebanon? Would you go to the Middle East?
No, but I just had a correspondent cover the Hezbollah conflict in the south.
Yeah.
What's going on there, Pat?
Well, tell us, Andrew, what's going on with the Hezbollah conflict in the south.
Yo, you don't know. He don't know. He don't support his people,
No,
dude.
I want to know what he learned.
He's a Staten Island scum.
Well, I have questions to ask him. So I know that Lebanon is a parliamentary republic, and after the Civil War, it's now divided among religious lines. What religion?
Right.
What religion?
So our
is your
president,
family?
I'm Catholic. Half of Lebanon is Muslim and Catholic or cryptid.
Cryptid?
Not
Yo,
cryptid. Christian.
Cryptid.
I meant to say Christian.
Yo, you wild.
Wait. Half is Muslim and half is.
Half is like Maronite, Christian, Catholic.
Gotcha.
So our president is Catholic, and usually the prime minister or the second in charge or whoever is Muslim. So
That's actually a good system.
We really have representatives from that cover all religions. So that's why we don't really have conflicts between religions anymore because our government like represents everybody.
So is your family mostly from Beirut, or is there a Christian part of the country?
Beirut, yeah. We're from Beirut. We're Catholic, a Maronite family.
And now Beirut, I remember Anthony Bourdain did an episode there. Beirut looked awesome. They were doing comedy open mics, music open mics, everything. Yeah. But is it like that right now, or did shit go sideways?
Comedy is starting in Lebanon. Like there's people like doing stand up and stuff.
So Lebanon, we could go to Beirut right now. We're safe as safe can be.
Yeah,
I mean, do shows in Lebanon tomorrow.
Shout out, go to ChristieComedy.com.
Yeah. Beirut coming next up.
Yeah.
I know there's like back in the day it was the shit. Like I was reading a book about Osama bin Laden. And he said he used to go there to kick it and get drunk and shit when he was like a teenager. Like he grew up in Saudi Arabia and he was like, bro, I hate it here. Let's go to the big city. I'm thinking he's like talking about New York. He's like, no, I'm going to Beirut. Like that was the cosmopolitan center of the Middle East.
Dude, do you know Saudi Arabia? it's just really Arabia, and the Saudis are like a family that own the country.
Like that's their last name?
Like it'd be like Callaghan Arabia.
Yeah.
Like it's so because it was always like, there's that movie like Lawrence of Arabia. Like for most of history it was just Arabia. It was the nation was called Arabia.
Yeah.
Then this Saudi family somehow with like oil and whatever, like they bought basically a nation. Now it is Saudi Arabia. And it's protected in many ways by the U.S. because of that oil field. So that's why things got a little dicey with 9/11.
Would you rather have smoke with the Saudis or the Scientologists?
Very good question. I'm going to say I'd rather have smoke. I'd rather have smoke with the Saudis, only because the Scientologists, if you have smoke with them, they will eventually kill you, but they really ruin your life for like 30 years. They put you in prison. They do things where I think the Saudis, like that journalist who just never came out, I think he was from Turkey.
Jamal Khashoggi.
Yeah, right. They just killed him, cut his body up, and that's it, dude. You're just in the ocean. So I'd rather that because I don't wanna deal with like all of a sudden, like your life gets turned upside down because you fucked with the Scientologists, because that's what happens.
Yeah, the policy is called fair gaming, right? And L. Ron Hubbard said enemies of the church, it's fair game to manipulate them in these crazy ass ways.
Yeah, so I don't want to mess with that.
They'll pump your house full of like microwave frequencies to make you think you're schizophrenic, and then you'll go to the doctor, and you know what I mean, he's actually a Scientologist, and you tell him you're schizophrenic, and he'll put you on medicine, but the medicine actually just like
I don't want to do that. I'd rather just if the Saudis could just come in, you know, and they'll just take me out.
Yeah.
You know, whatever they have to do. You hit me with the heart attack gun, you kill me, chop me up.
Yeah.
You know, you blow up my plane, whatever you need to do, babe.
Yeah.
Just finish me.
And that's why I always say that's the one thing I'll never really cover is Scientology. And people will say, "Oh, you're a massive pussy. Are you scared?" I'm like, "Yeah, I am scared.
I am scared.
And I'm actually I take care of my family." So
yeah, you don't want to do that. I don't want to mess with them. To be honest with you, too, even like with like the I don't really know, but like what I was saying before, like advancing in this business in like entertainment, like you're like you must get to a certain point where you're like, well. Now it's like, is this actually what I wanted? Because now my whole life's under a microscope. Now I could be even getting to the point where like some very powerful people, you know, can control you. And I'm like, again, not that I'm anywhere close to that, but it is a thing where I'm like, I like the angle, I like the level I'm at here.
Yeah.
Where it's like, who really cares about me?
Hollywood is a sophisticated blackmail operation, and
Run by the government type thing.
Run by the government, you could say, also just the big studios who are incentivized to push certain agendas, and they leverage dirt on most of the prominent celebrities and late night talk show hosts to make them fall in line. Especially you saw during the Israel-Palestine conflict.
Sure.
United Talent Agency, UTA, sent out a notice to all Jewish and Muslim comedians, and they said, if you make a statement, you know, we're going to drop you from the agency if you make a statement in favor of either side. So that's just a small example of, you know, you'd think that.
I just want to shout out WME. They did not ask us to do that. Shout out WME, dude. WME's dope.
I'm also rep by WME.
Love it, dude. WME did not put us in that position.
And I think most of the
WME just said, you better start fucking selling tickets or we're moving your show to the theater downstairs.
And most of Scientology also does this. So Scientology is also a blackmail operation. This is going to sound crazy, but Epstein and Epstein Island was all about compromising and blackmailing prominent people. And Scientology also does that. Like that's how like real corruption gets rooted nowadays with the media.
So was Epstein though aware of all that, and then they turned on him?
No, I think Epstein at the jump was a CIA asset, and I think Epstein Island. If you look at what was happening there, the conservative and QAnon people always want to go at the extreme angle, like they were eating babies and worshiping Satan. People don't understand. A lot of the people who were flown to Epstein Island, some of the top chefs, and I knew a chef who worked on Epstein Island. They didn't know what was going on.
Barefoot Contessa?
Dude.
Who was it?
I can't say his name.
I thought it was publicly out.
No, but so I knew a guy who was cooking food there. Dude, some of the people that would go to Epstein Island were like bankers, financiers, Harvard scientists.
That had nothing to do with it. They were just going there to go to an island.
No, Jeffrey would say, yo, I'm going to have a dope party. I'm going to have a top chef. From what I heard, Eminem would come out freestyle rapping.
Right, probably paid him $500,000 plus.
Right. And so I think these people are trapped in a situation, and then at the very end of the night, Epstein will say, now, would you like a massage?
Got it.
And then they wake up and they're caught on tape doing something with someone underage, and he says
that they didn't know was underage. Actually, they don't assume they wouldn't be.
They don't have to know,
right?
And in the case of Prince Andrew, maybe they're like, all right, I want to keep being a pedo, or if they don't want to, now they have to do what?
Because they are on a flight log. They are on they are on video.
They're on video, and Scientology, I think, employs similar practices. Right. And if you think about, have you heard of the gold base?
No.
Which is where they keep.
Is that on Coinbase?
Goldbase is a Scientology prison facility and work camp in the middle of the Mojave Desert, where they have a place called The Hole, which is a windowless room where they trap people who are going against the church and like physically beat them and shit like that.
Damn.
So they have like a really terrifying.
Now you have proof this is real, or these are like
proof? You could look up the Goldbase. It's in Yucaipa, California.
So there are a lot of things I think that our generation, especially your younger generation, like. For example, when I grew up in a world where if you said aliens are real or a gold base is real, people would be like, you're crazy, like you need to go to an insane asylum. Where now, if you say aliens aren't real, they're like, you need to go to an insane asylum. Of course they're real. So there's a lot of these truths being uncovered. What is the most glaring, like, holy shit, you cannot believe that this one is actually truth?
Probably the infiltration of like all activist and counterculture movements in the 60s by the FBI. Mm-hmm. You know, just the way they systematically like destabilized every single like working person movement ever, and they kind of turned them against each other, introduced drugs in the 70s and 80s.
And what was the reason for that?
Just they felt like the people were getting too powerful. You got to think about, imagine all these organizations starting at the same time. Hell's Angels and the motorcycle gangs, Black Panthers, Brown Berets, the American Indian movement, animal rights groups, unions, like pretty much after, in and around the Vietnam War, like the people as a unit were getting stronger than the government could handle. So they actually, this has been declassified, they compromised all the top leaders, they got them hooked on dope, they assassinated some of them, and within 10 years, almost every single remotely activist organization was destabilized and gone.
Do you think that we are getting pretty powerful again as people?
I think that we were getting powerful around the Occupy movement in 2012, and I think that the FBI did something around that time period to trick conservatives into worshiping billionaires and turn all leftists against each other in the meantime. And I think that'll be declassified in like 20, 30 years.
Yeah, so because that is interesting you said about the conservatives worshiping the billionaires. It's like, yeah, that wasn't like
Not
their
at all.
movement when I was growing up. That wasn't about it at all.
Now that they're like worshiping people like Elon and these like free market crypto billionaires.
Yeah, they were the anti that.
And now with the left, you have like 50 factions fighting for, you know, airtime.
Yeah. The left is eating their own.
It wasn't always like that.
Right.
Occupy 2012 was the first time you had conservatives and liberals fighting against a common enemy.
Did you go down there? Were you down there in
No,
Zuccotti Park?
I was like 13.
Dude, I went. You guys were young too. I was there. I went to Zuccotti Park. I forgot who I was going there with on a daily basis, but there was a comedian, Ted Alexandro, who like Ted was like a real deal dude with this because like it was cool. I went when it was cool, when it was like all over the news, and I just wanted to see what it was about. And you know, I was just started comedy. I was like in the, you know, always in the city doing this thing. I was like around all these people. And then like it kind of got disbanded and there was only like 10 people left for like months. And Ted was one of those guys. Like Ted was there.
Really boots on the ground.
Boots on the ground, dude. And I was like, wow. But I remember being there. I remember my mom telling me, do not go down there because the media was feeding like there's drug addicts down there. There's violence down there. And I remember going down there and seeing all walks of life people getting along with each other.
Totally.
That is what I saw. And I remember vividly being like, this is not what, and I remember in that time being the first little crack in my brain about maybe the media lies. Because I grew up in a world where they did lie, but it was not, nobody would eat, you had to be the rarest of rare to question it.
And it wasn't entertainment during that time.
It was not.
Yeah.
You know, the CNN and all the 24-hour news cycle, that's really when it changed, when you had to, you know, pretty much come up with content for 24 hours.
Absolutely.
Before that, when you just had the morning and, you know, nightly news, they could just report the stories for half an hour.
And you know what's crazy is that the 24-hour news cycle actually started after 9/11 because people were glued to the news for more time than they'd ever been before.
Sure.
Because people are watching 24 hours a day, wondering about updates with death toll, and that went on for like 4 months. And they decided to just keep it going. But before then, it would be like CNN's doing programming from 8 to 2.
Yeah.
You know, we're going to syndicate that for the rest of the day. We're going to play it on a loop like
Reruns.
nothing new.
Yeah.
But then it became like breaking. But what I was going to say is the craziest like disinformation psyop after Occupy was convincing people that there was like a deep state that wasn't like the CEOs of the companies that are like listed on the NASDAQ. You know what I mean? Like you can literally look up 100 richest people in the U.S. and they convince them like, no, it's not those guys. There's actually a different group of dudes called the deep state who you don't even know about.
They won't even be on a billionaire's
they're
list.
fucking out there, bro. And
Yeah.
But no, it's not Jeff Bezos, Larry Fink, Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg. No. It's dudes like demon worshiping dudes who were like underground, like
that
you
people genuinely accept and believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that sort of took the place of what was like happening at Occupy.
Dude, it's fascinating, man, because, you know, I don't know a way out, though. I don't know, like, where do you think we're living in a time where it's just like 100 years from now, they'll look back and be like, remember when those people were living like psychotically?
Yeah, like I was saying, I think they'll look back at, you know, the lack of media literacy and be like, that time when people didn't know how to use the internet, right? Like that time when people believed everything. That's kind of where we're at right now.
Right, yeah.
And we look back at other time periods like that too. We look back, like, I think if we look back at like the 30s and 40s, like even how people obediently worshipped and went with the government, we were like, what the hell's wrong with those people?
Yeah.
Like everybody was on board with whatever the government was doing, pretty much.
Even if you look at like Nazism, like you say, how did that happen? It's like, well, because the German people of that time, they had a crippled nation, and Hitler was just able, because he had the gift of gab, whatever, just able to convince, what once were just good-hearted people that wouldn't hurt their neighbor to hurt their neighbor. So the thing that I always that's the thing about history is when you everybody in their present day at any moment in history would look back at 200 years ago and be like, those barbarians, that would never happen again, and then it happens again.
Yeah.
So this whole idea that like you can again as a human race start killing people, good people can't, it's like so ridiculous. Like you absolutely can start doing that again.
I think we're in that timeline now, not of like heading toward like, crazy fucking concentration camps or anything like that. But I mean, looking back, we're definitely in like one of the dumbest timelines. Did you see Elon yesterday saying, I have become meme?
No.
He's like, he gets up on CPAC with his like dumbass fur coat and he's like, I have become meme. Yeah. It was like, bro, you're looking at this like, bro, this is so embarrassing. It's just embarrassing more than anything else.
But it's wild because he's probably got one of the highest IQs of any human being living right now, right?
In terms of tech support, probably.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But probably not in terms of like decision making.
What about like Chat GPT? I heard somebody talking about Chat GPT saying this is like a Napster version of it now. Like the next wave of this is going to be almost so insane that human beings are like going to be obsolete. Is that more just fear porn?
I think so, because like, I mean, even people said like 10 years ago, they said like, dude, VR is going to, take away video game consoles and everyone's going to want full immersion. I don't think people want to be fully immersed in technology like that.
No, as a matter of fact, my 14-year-old son just asked me for the old school Nintendo because he doesn't want the graphics of like the PS4. He's like, I kind of want to play the old shit.
Yeah, it's like arcade games of olden times like are like more fun of olden times. That sounds fucking crazy. Anyway, San Andreas back in the ancient times is better than Grand Theft Auto 5 because it's like a real cartoon. It's fun.
It's true.
And like people don't want like this VR headset that's like connected to these physical sensors to where when you shoot someone your like fucking body shaking.
Yeah, like even like in comedy, like I heard an agent the other day saying like, oh, it's going to be wild when like you're going to be able to do like an arena from a box in New York, and you could play an arena in Hong Kong because everyone's just going to want to virtually be there. I'm like, no, they're not. I physically feel like they're going to want to be in the arena with you in Hong Kong.
No, that's the thing is people have this, especially like those not on the creative side, but on like the tech and booking side, they have like this crazy vision of like the robotics are just going to keep going and there's going to be no waiters at restaurants. And I'm like, dude, people hate QR code menus.
Oh, I hate QR code menus.
Regular people resist these kinds of like installations of technology.
Dude, every time I get a QR code menu, I'm like, do you have an actual physical menu? And if they say no, I'm like, tell me what you have then.
Right.
Physically tell me then what I should get.
Yeah. So I think that we're going to hit a boiling point and all this shit's going to start reversing.
You think so?
AI,
and do you think we're
technology,
close to that?
No, I think it's like 20 more years.
So I'm unfortunately, I'm fucked.
No, I think you'll be alive.
No, I'll be alive, but I'm saying like the glory years of comedians' career are right now. I just turned 40. This decade, it's going to be all the technology comedians will win.
But I do think that right now is a better time for comedians than 10 years ago. Or maybe 8 years ago.
Because why? Because we were more free in our speech?
Comedy seems to be like a little bit funnier than it was like during the first term of the Trump presidency.
That's a good point. Yeah. You know what happens though? The only thing that I do get a little worried about, and I don't know if it'll be different this time, specifically on comedy, is comedy always rises with the counterculture. So comedy started to get more free of speech, and comedy, like you said, comedy got better because, Trump was out and Biden was in. So the other side starts to be like free speech, where now that Trump's in, I worry that the other side becomes the counterculture, and then you start to suppress the free speech again.
Yeah, that'll happen.
Yeah.
It's going to be a constant boomerang of of what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Have you been to Austin?
Oh, sure.
What do you think? Like doing a set there versus here?
I think that Austin has now moved to pretty much being like the focal point of comedy. I mean, I think obviously what Joe Rogan and the Comedy Mothership and Kill Tony, all that stuff, like all that stuff is great for comedy. I know there's people are going to hate on anything that's like going well.
It's a dope venue though.
It's a dope venue, and what I love about what's happened specifically in comedy is it's very for us, by us now. It's very much like Rogan is a comedian. So he wants to help the comedians, not the corporations, not the industry. He would work with them, but he's more about like, how can I help the comedian versus how can I, help the executive producer of this? How do I make the comedian rich, not the person, that's sitting in the bowels of whatever network. So that's cool. That's different because usually there were gatekeepers, and the gatekeepers really were trying to get themselves rich and the networks rich, and then they would give you the scraps even though it was your show and idea. I mean, not always. There was obviously many situations where people got very wealthy, but Rogan is more like, no, how can I put the career in your hands?
So it's
take
moving
it out of the industry.
It's like moving towards like a comics first model down there.
I mean, honestly, the opportunity that I've gotten in my career is been strictly because of the other comedians. Like the other comedians reposting my stuff, getting on their shows, working with them, and how I can help other comedians as well. I'm not anti-industry. I will work with the networks, and I have a special on Hulu right now. I want to play symbiotically with it. But the reality is if a good comedian, like that was respected by his or her peers, really was having some trouble. I mean, there was a time in life where like every network says no and you don't have a career, where nowadays it's like, hey, you can reach out to Joe Rogan, Tom Segura, like these big names, Andrew Schultz, and say, hey, it's like, can you help me? Can I get on? Can I utilize your platform in some way to help me? And they'll at least give you a fighting chance, which is dope.
That's got to terrify the networks, though.
Of course, that's why there's a huge shift in entertainment, because it's like I'm not in this position, but some of my peers who, crush it financially, they lose money doing sitcoms and movies.
Oh yeah,
they will lose money, so they're like, it's not for me.
Yeah.
So as far as comedies go, I think that's why you're not seeing the big comedians in any of these movies anymore, because they're like David Spade and Theo Vaughn are doing a movie right now, but they self-financed it.
Yeah, I mean, to be transparent, I'm making like 4 times more money with Dear Kelly than I did with my HBO movie.
Oh, of course.
Because with the HBO movie, I got 10% residuals.
I believe it. This is,
know what I mean?
All you now.
Which, I mean, shout out to them for hosting me. I'm not hating on them, but I'm just saying that's how it works. Because they got to put a bunch of money into advertising and marketing and do their traditional stuff and pay all these people behind the scenes.
Yeah.
By the time it comes down to me, they're like, all right, we've done so much for you already. Here's 10%. So
you just got to pay you and the fucking Bigfoot guy.
Exactly.
That's it, dude. It's awesome. John, Pat?
Sure. I mean, I guess last question.
No. I want you to keep going.
Have you talk to people all over the world. Have you ever felt threatened or maybe in danger while you're doing an interview?
Yeah, but not in the moment. Sure. I watched the footage after, and I'm like, "Fuck, I shouldn't have been there."
I mean, I recently watched the Trank Brothers interview again. I mean, that's absolutely fucking bananas.
Yeah, that was probably that. Yeah, there was some drug dealers in Philadelphia. That was probably like the most dangerous situation that I've been in.
Like you almost got killed, you feel like?
No, but it's like they were running like an open trap house. So you have a rival drug dealer could come, shoot it up, rob them. They could get mad, shoot you. The cops could come and do a raid. And, when cops are raiding a stash house, they're not like, oh, that guy's got a microphone. They're
like Channel 5, dude?
Yeah. Yeah, so that was pretty much like the Trank Brothers interview was the most scared that I've been. But I wasn't scared in there. I was like scared after it.
In the edit, you were scared, being like, damn.
And also, like, if I don't conceal these guys' voices well enough, then,
they come at you.
Who knows? I mean, you think that, I live in L.A., like, dudes from Philly can't kill me, but...
They can. But then you do a lot of fun ones, like the guy, Will Blumenfield is?
Will Blunderfield.
Will Blunderfield's my guy.
Who, by the way, is not gay.
He's right. No, I didn't think he was.
He has same-sex attraction, not gay.
Not gay. I saw, I would always be with him. I met him once.
You met him?
At Tom Segura.
Oh, you were there for that podcast?
Yeah, Tom.
Oh, my God.
And watch his videos with Tom. And so the thing is, do you believe, like, because he says that that's the way guys just used to be. Like, and there's a lot of power in the nut taps and all that.
Well, I think that he's right that there's more gay people in history than we think. Mm-hmm. I don't think that all dudes used to be gay. But if you look at samurais, they were gay. They did gay things.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. What would samurais do that was gay?
Samurais did gay shit.
I don't know. I honestly, I don't know much. I kind of just specifically learn about American culture because everyone else is the enemy.
After a long day of battle against ninjas, or I'm not sure if they fought ninjas, I don't know exactly what happened.
Like a legitimate battle where people were getting killed.
After a samurai fight, they would go back to the dojo and they would, do their thing.
Have sex with each other.
Yeah.
Interesting.
just to be like, yeah, bro, fuck yeah.
Like we release a release.
Yeah. And also the
Interesting.
ancient Romans, the Spartans used to do it.
Yeah.
But I feel like they were just on some like crazy warfare, like were, just like,
Right.
I don't know.
Right.
I think Will is gay.
Yes. Right.
But I think that he's right that there was more gay people throughout history.
Well, the thing is too, like when you speak to someone, have you ever like interviewed like any like long time like prisoners who 20, 30 years?
Yeah, they're only gay because there's no girls in there.
No. They are but they are gay. But I saw a thing with a prisoner once that said that there's truth to that there's just no girls. But there is. What happens is when you're around a lot of guys for a long, long time, this testosterone thing starts to become with the leaders. I'm going to show you dominance through sex. And it's like a submissive thing. It's like bench pressing more than you. It just becomes that.
Yeah. Also, like if you ever meet a gay warrior or a gay gangbanger, like there's a gay gang in West Hollywood. I forget what they're called. They're called like the I don't want to say it. It's something like the like booty warriors or some shit.
Bad friends?
No.
Oh.
And they're terrifying. Imagine if a bunch of gay dudes roll up on you like gang banged out, like that's way scarier than like a regular gang.
100%, dude, because you're gonna get robbed and fucked.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So like I think that like if you can channel homosexuality and a warrior spirit, you're more scary than almost anyone else in the world.
Guys, if you're going to take anything from this podcast, remember those words. If you can channel a warrior spirit and homosexuality, you'll be scarier than any gang out there. And those are the words of Andrew Callaghan. And that's what we do here on Channel 5.
That's what we do, man.
Thank you, brother. Go see Dear Kelly. Where can people see it?
You can go to www.dearkellyfilm.com. You can rent it for $5.55, or you could buy it for $15.55.
I would suggest
don't pirate it.
Buy it, because then you have it, because you know you're going to want to watch it again. You know it's going to come up 10 years from now. Buy it. The $10 difference is worth it. Buy it.
And the website will never go anywhere, so I'm not going to finesse anyone.
That's it, baby.
No pump and dump schemes.